In the small, sleepy town of Willow Springs, the sound of engines roaring was more familiar than church bells on a Sunday morning. The town had a long history with racing. Its winding back roads and long stretches of open highway made it a haven for anyone with a love of speed. Each year, Willow Springs hosted the Thunder Road Derby, a race that brought out the best drivers from the surrounding counties. For decades, the event had been dominated by the same names, well-known racers with sponsors, top-of-the-line cars, and a pedigree in the sport. Among these seasoned racers was a young man named Marcus. He was different from the others in almost every way. While the big-name drivers had grown up in racing families, Marcus had grown up in a small, run-down garage on the outskirts of town. His father, Ray, was a mechanic, a genius with an engine but not much of a businessman. The garage was filled with old, worn-out cars that most people had long given up on, but not Ray. He could see the potential in every broken-down vehicle, and he passed that same vision on to his son. Marcus spent his childhood with grease-stained hands, learning the intricacies of car engines and bodywork. But more than anything, he developed a deep love for racing. He wasn't drawn by the fame or the trophies. He was captivated by the pure, unfiltered joy of driving fast. Every year, he would stand by the fence at the Thunder Road Derby, dreaming of the day he might join the ranks of the racers he idolized. However, Marcus's dreams were always met with skepticism. He was an underdog in every sense of the word. His family didn't have the money to buy a fancy car or the connections to get him into the racing circuit. All Marcus had was an old, rusted-out car that his father had been working on for years. It was a 1970s muscle car, a relic of a bygone era, but Ray saw something in it, potential, raw, and untapped. "You've got to work with what you've got, son," Ray would say, handing Marcus a wrench. "This car might not look like much, but with a little love and a lot of elbow grease, it can be something special." And so, Marcus worked. Every spare moment was spent in the garage, tuning the engine, fixing the suspension, and replacing old parts with whatever he could afford. The car, which he affectionately named the Beast, became a labor of love. It wasn't just a vehicle. It was a symbol of everything Marcus believed in: hard work, determination, and the belief that with enough heart, anything was possible. As the next Thunder Road Derby approached, Marcus decided that this was the year he would enter the race. When he signed up, the reaction from the other drivers was less than encouraging. They laughed at his car, mocking its rusted exterior and dated design. They joked that Marcus would be lucky if the Beast even made it to the starting line, let alone the finish. But Marcus wasn't discouraged. He knew the Beast's potential, and he trusted in his own skills. On race day, as he rolled up to the starting line, the snickers and side glances didn't bother him. He wasn't there to prove anything to anyone but himself. The flag dropped, and the race was on. The other cars, sleek and modern, shot off the line like rockets. Marcus, in the Beast, lagged behind. But while the other drivers relied on the raw power of their engines, Marcus relied on something more: strategy and skill. The course was grueling, filled with sharp turns, rough patches, and long straights. Many of the other drivers, confident in their superior vehicles, underestimated the difficulty of the track. They took risks, pushing their cars to the limit without thinking of the consequences. Marcus, however, drove with precision. He knew the Beast inside and out, and he used that knowledge to navigate the course with care. Lap after lap, Marcus found himself slowly gaining ground. The other cars, pushed too hard too fast, started to falter. Engines overheated, tires blew, and drivers made mistakes. Marcus kept his focus, taking advantage of every opportunity that came his way. By the final lap, he had moved up to third place, a position no one expected him to reach. As the racers approached the final stretch, the two cars in front of Marcus were locked in a fierce battle for the lead. They were neck and neck, pushing each other to the brink. Marcus saw his chance. He knew the Beast didn't have the raw speed to overtake them on a straightaway, but there was one last corner, a sharp, dangerous turn that required not just speed, but finesse. Marcus had practiced that turn countless times in the old back roads near his home. He knew exactly how to take it, when to brake, when to accelerate, and how to position the car to maintain speed without losing control. As the leaders barreled towards the corner, Marcus made his move. He timed it perfectly, cutting inside just as the two leaders overcompensated, their tires screeching as they fought to stay on the road. The crowd watched in stunned silence as Marcus, the underdog in the old, beaten-up car, slid past the leaders with a move that was as daring as it was brilliant. He crossed the finish line just ahead of them, his victory sealed in a moment of pure racing genius. The stands erupted in cheers. No one had expected Marcus to win. Not the other drivers, not the spectators, and certainly not the local media, who had paid him little attention. But Marcus had done it. He had proven that heart, skill, and determination could overcome even the most overwhelming odds. As Marcus stepped out of the beast, his hands still shaking from the adrenaline, he was greeted by a wave of applause. The other drivers, who had once mocked him, now approached with respect. They knew they had witnessed something special, a true underdog story that would be talked about in Willow Springs for years to come. Marcus didn't just win a race that day. He won the respect of everyone who saw him as nothing more than a mechanic's son with an old car. He showed that no matter where you come from or what challenges you face, you can achieve greatness if you believe in yourself and work tirelessly toward your goals. From that day on, Marcus became a local hero, inspiring others who felt underestimated or overlooked to pursue their passions. The Beast, once a symbol of everything Marcus didn't have, became a symbol of everything he had achieved, a testament to the power of grit, determination, and the belief that even the most underestimated underdog can rise to the top.